is Richard and Vivian Crabb. They are based in the U.S. We've been close to them, watched them from afar, and we've learned a lot of things from them. They are married for more than 40 years. They are very successful. They are also marriage counselors. They are professionals on their own. They do their own work, but then they also marriage counselors, professional, certified marriage counselors. And they've helped a lot of people through their marriages. They do premarital counseling, they do postmarital counseling, and then they do crisis management. They've written books about marriage and how to enrich your marriage and have a successful marriage. So I will not take a lot of their time. I'm very happy and grateful. I'm going to introduce to you our speakers for this year. He doesn't like me to call him elder, but let's say uncle and auntie Richard and Vivian Crabb from US. You are welcome. You got the floor now. Go.
Thank you so much. Now I can call you Reverend, right? Pastor Peter and Harriet. Congratulations on 25 years silver anniversary. Just let us know if we're coming through clearly for you in terms of voice. Thank you. All right. Good evening, Australia, particularly Kalgoorlie. We're happy to be with you again this year. And it's always a joy to be able to share some of life's stories, life's journey with people who are also interested in making not just sense, but really enjoying this journey called marriage together. And I hope today we've got some people also who are not yet married and who will learn a few things that they can use to pave their own way or to make their journey much easier than otherwise would be. Today we want to talk about how we can bond and keep that bond strong in marriage. People think of having sex in marriage or sex in marriage as the main way we bond. But think of the people in your life that you feel close to. They aren't people you have sex with. The people you call your close friends. There's so much you do with them that doesn't have to do with sex or even talk about that. So how is it that you feel those close bonds to them? We're going to explore some of these things. And for us to realize that focusing on the physical aspect of the relationship often prevents us from being able to truly and fully bond. Because if sex were what causes people to bond, prostitutes would be bonding more than anyone else. But you and I know that they don't know the names of most of the people they sleep with. So if you don't know the person's name, how can you even say you have a bond with them? Of course, I'm not denying the fact that having sex with somebody creates a bond, but we're not talking about sex today. We want to focus on the relationship that two people can develop that can enable them to bond in such a way that it can take them through life. A good example of two people who bonded, written about in the Bible, is David and Jonathan, two men. But that's not all we're talking about. So we want to talk about the friendship that needs to exist between a husband and wife. Two people setting out in marriage. And perhaps we need to situate it, first of all, for the singles, your context today, where people meet, how they develop the relationship. And then for those who are already married, what you're doing to bond and who you could actually be bonding with more than your spouse. Some of you are checking your mental notes already. So, what's a friend? One dictionary says a friend is a person whom you like and enjoy being with. You like and enjoy being with. Okay, keep that in mind. So we'll use these two. Do you like this person? Do you enjoy being with them? See, when you ask two people who want to get married or who are talking to each other, who are getting to know each other, who are dating, whatever the phrases you use, if you ask them, do you love this person? Do you love that person? You're almost certainly going to have the answer, yes. So we refrain in our counseling from asking people, do you love this person? Because the answer is, yeah. Why do I want to get married to this person if I don't love them? But the answer to the question, do you like this person? It's not always easy. And for people who are Christian in orientation, it's easy to say, oh, the Bible says I should love everybody. So, yes, I love her unconditionally, I love him unconditionally. Well, but do you like them? How many of you would like to travel 3 hours, 6 hours on a train journey? You know your distances in Australia better than we do. You're traveling from Kalgoorlie to Perth on the train. There's only two of you in the carriage. No talking, no interaction. How's that journey going to be like? Maybe you get lost on your phone, or in your phone, I should be saying, or a book, or maybe checking out the scenery as you go along. May not be a pleasant journey. But how many of us are going through the process into marriage and not liking each other, but convincing ourselves that, yeah, we love each other, we love each other? Or as the dating apps will tell you, you have the right chemistry. So, yes, you could go ahead and develop a relationship. We have come to find that friendship is a stronger form of interpersonal bond than an association. Marriage can be a platform for deep friendship. And what we find with people we work with often is they're married, sometimes for years, but they're not friends. Think of your friends. What are some of the things you do with your friends? You know, anyone? Yes. Okay, let's focus on close friends. Yes. Anybody? Sorry, Pastor Young, if you have a mic, let people just toss out things so they don't just sit and listen to us from the US. We want to hear Australia too. Mm-hmm. Anyone?
Yeah, so I have a friend and I always want to talk to him all the time. Like I enjoy talking to him
Are you
most.
looking for a mic? Hello?
Yeah, I was saying that I enjoy talking to my friend a lot. So yeah, anytime I want to talk to him.
Okay. Enjoy talking to them, to your friend a lot, your buddy maybe, okay, close friend, anyone else. Enjoy talking to. Keep these things we're saying in mind. Mm-hmm.
For me, I enjoy going out with my friends.
Enjoy
So
going out.
yeah,
Good.
I also enjoy sharing some secrets with my friends.
sharing some secrets. Lovely. More?
Spending time together.
Spending time together. Mm-hmm. Let's take two more.
I always think good food, having some food together.
Pray together. Okay.
Over food.
Break bread together.
Break bread together. Eat together. Or did you, Pastor, did you mean have communion together?
No, I'm just repeating what somebody said. He said they eat together, like eating
Oh,
with
eat to,
friends.
oh, okay. Okay. All right. So one more. One more. Lady?
I like catching up with my girlfriends. I haven't heard, and on Wednesday nights our night to speak to each other and catch up with some girls in Kalgoorlie and Kambalda and art classes and bits and pieces and work colleagues too. And church.
Yeah, so she enjoyed catching up with her girlfriends.
Enjoy catching up, even though you might be separated by distance. Okay. Did you hear the question I asked? I said, what do you do with them? Every one of you use the word enjoy. Everyone use the word I enjoy, and then you said the action. Your friend. So for those married, would you say the same things? I enjoy. Do you see the difference? Why are we enjoying? Oh, sorry. Why should we enjoy talking to friend? But when it comes to the spouse, no, that's my spouse. Some people might say, I enjoy fighting. No. Some do. We do know some who enjoy that. But I hope you see what we're trying to get across. Think of the things you enjoy doing. These are your words, not ours. Enjoy. You have joy. It gives you joy. So what happens? You want to be with those persons again. You want to catch up with that person again. You see, if you took a trip out somewhere and you came back, 3 days you've been away, a week, 2 weeks, you want to enjoy, you want to have that time catching up. So what does a spouse say to the other? He's gone for a conference 1 week, gone on a trip 1 week, comes back, she comes back. How was it? And what's the answer? Oh, it went well. That's all the catching up. Do you see the absence of friendship, what it does to us? Even though we say we are in love with each other, how come we're in love but we can't catch up with each other? Or when we try to do that, it's short. And yet somebody said, I enjoy talking to my friend hours, like spending time with them. Do you like spending time with each other? Some might say yes. Some might say no. So think about how I'll say many people run their lives. Without friendship, the marital relationship can become transactional, even functional. For example, one person pays the mortgage, car notes, and cooks, while the other cleans, does laundry, looks after the children. You do this, I do that. Such a couple are more like business partners. And you say, oh, well, isn't that what we do? We split the responsibilities or the roles, I should say. But without friendship, we're only associating. We meet once a while, or as and when necessary to discuss various issues. The Johnny's teacher wants us to come for a conference next week. So without that, there's really nothing to catch up on. There's nothing really to share. anything you've read, heard that you want to share? Who do you think about first to share with? That is a window into where your mind is, or where your mind can move, or how we as individuals have wired our brains to respond to things. And so we ask, what characterizes your relationship? Is it a functional one? You do this, I do that. Transactions, because you give me this, I will also give you that. If you don't, I won't. Or do you have a friendship that goes beyond the do's and don'ts to, I want to be with this person. I enjoy doing X, Y with this person. So this is really something we're finding missing in relationships and marriages, that the people are not finding fulfilling: the absence of friendship. This is important. And when people are courting or dating or talking, whatever the operative phrase you have, they often talk about being in a relationship, but their focus tends to be getting married. But not much attention is given to developing their friendship. And in marriage, then the focus becomes, okay, the children and our careers, because we're growing older, we're moving up the corporate ladder, or in our jobs, we want things to succeed. Yes, it's part of life. But what about the person we choose, or we have chosen to spend life with? If our focus becomes focusing on the external rather than the internal, in other words, what is happening outside of the relationship rather than those inside the relationship, then you can begin to understand why, with time, people drift apart, even though they might even remain married. So the initial courtship, romance, and love that are experienced by a couple can lead to feelings of closeness. Yes, but unless we choose, think of the things we've said, to share our inner thoughts, some secrets somebody said, our interests, our fears, joys, expectations, and beliefs, the warmth of the honeymoon romance will not endure the years. And yes, as a couple, you will at some point begin to experience a shallow relationship, because the realities, pressures, and stresses of everyday life will quench the fire of love. Let's think of the things we said we like to do, enjoy. Sorry, I have to remember this word. I'll remember it. We'll actually use it. Enjoy. Friends often, well, let's ask the question again. You know, why do you call these people your friends, and close friends for that matter? Anyone? You know, the things you've told us, the things you like, do you enjoy doing with them? Why do you call these people your close friends? Anyone? Let's go ahead. Let's get the mic around. And maybe somebody who's not spoken, you can kick off. Yes?
Anyway, mostly with friends that you feel comfortable speaking
You
with.
feel comfortable. Good.
And
Very good.
you feel
Okay.
motivated.
Next.
The returns that they give you when you speak to them, like being motivated or getting a very positive return when you feel comfortable speaking with them.
Okay. Very good. Next. Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy talking to them because I trust them that sometimes when you discuss things with them, they keep it within them, and then yeah, what they tells you also moves you on.
Okay? What they tell you, move you on.
Yeah, and then trust.
Trust them.
Trust.
Very good. Okay? The ladies,
What I call a friend is someone who add value to me, and mostly because I am developing a mindset of entrepreneurship. So my circle of friends are people who add value to me and to what I want to
they,
be.
they add value to your life, to your vision, or to what you're developing. Add value. I hope you're making notes about these things. These are really important things you're saying. Anything else? Anyone else? Sorry.
Yeah, the thing I like about good friends is the fact that you can not see them for years, and you catch up with them, and it's like you haven't missed a day. So a good friend to me is someone that you conversely carry on talking to as if you speak to them every day.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to my best mate for 20 years now. But I can tell you right now, if I speak to him tomorrow, it'll be just like we haven't stopped.
Okay. You can pick up tomorrow like it was just yesterday you spoke with them if you haven't spoken to them for a long time. Okay. There is a connection that is sparked anytime you meet. All right. Anyone else? Let's take one more. The ladies, I'm sure you have close friends. Why are they your close friends?
I can talk like a lady if you like. I was just thinking of the scripture that says, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine."
Mm-hmm.
And when I get around people that are full of joy, full of laughter, and they've got a good sense of humour, that just brings something to the atmosphere. It just lifts up what could otherwise possibly be a very depressing atmosphere. You might have had a bad day. Someone comes along and tells a joke, or just gives you a pat on the back and a bit of a smile and jokes around with you. It just lifts the atmosphere. So anyone that has a good sense of humour, I think, has a very
Good
relevant.
sense of humor. They lift you up. These are excellent things you're saying. One of the things that characterizes all you say and what was shared before is that these are people with whom we have similar interests and we share different things. Particularly, we were struck by the person who said, "Oh, even if I haven't seen them for a long time, 20 years, I haven't spoken. If I see them, boom, it's like I've spoken to them every day." You know, there is something about a close friend and the relationship leading up to them becoming a close friend. That's what we need to work on. Why are they your best friend? One of the things you will find that you might have similar interests. For the guys, maybe you support the same football team or rugby team or cricket team. Maybe you went to the same school. There is something about shared interest, not just similar, but shared experiences also. I've gone through tough times with them. I've gone through great times, happy times together. Our close friends, they're with us through those times. It's not like when we're on our, best behavior, then they are our friend, and then when we're not, they abandon us. Just think for a moment. The people you call your close friends, and you'll see how much you have shared in life's experiences with them. Not only the secrets, but sometimes every day. Have a bite together. Talk. Talk about what? Any and everything. You know, um, my wife Vivian broke her ankle some years ago, and I used to take her for therapy, physical therapy. And one day, the woman who used to fix the machine and do the stretches asked the two of us, I have a question for you. Every day you come here, right from the time the elevator opens, you're talking. I fix the machine, you're talking. When she's doing her stretches, sometimes you're talking. And when you're leaving, you're still talking. What do you talk about? And we looked at each other and laughed. And we said everything. And she said, no, I really want to know. And we said, yeah, we talk about any and everything. There's always something to share. And she said, wow, how long have you been married? So we told her. And she said, I can't talk with my husband for more than how many minutes? She said, more than 5 minutes. And we said, what? You've been married, what? 7 years and 5 minutes? Oh, man. You know, this is a young woman, young husband, 5 minutes? What? From our home to the place was like 20 minutes. And yes, we always had something to talk about. So here's the thing. Why is this so important? And why are we talking about this? Well, think of today's world. There's everything to take us from each other, whether it's the TV. These days, we don't even worry about the TV program. We worry about binging on the series. Yes. Instead of catching up with our friend, that's if your spouse were your friend, because you've been away, you're waiting to get back. It's the weekend. I don't have to work. I'm going to binge on the series I've missed. Yes. I'm not sure about your major series because we're not in Australia, but we know about Neighbors. I'm not even sure whether you watched it like we watched it, you know, whether in the UK or in the US. But okay, let me binge, let me catch up on it. It's not catching up with my friends. So beep, we click and we're in another world for hours and we don't get bored. So why are we getting bored with the person we're traveling through life with? Research from the Gallup organization, the one that does all these polls, the Gallup, their research indicates that a couple's friendship could account for 70% of overall marital satisfaction. Gallup is not a Christian organization, okay? And that's what they found. 70% of overall marital satisfaction can depend on a couple's friendship. Not the money, not the children, not friendship. It is. Then there's John Gottman. Some of you may have heard of him, and he has said that John Gottman is a researcher, renowned researcher into marriage and relationships. And he has said, quote, happy marriages are based on a deep friendship. He's also said that friendship is the core of a strong marriage. And his own research has shown that a high quality friendship in a marriage is an important predictor of romantic and physical satisfaction. I want to repeat that. A high quality friendship in a marriage is an important predictor of romantic and physical satisfaction. Guys, who are you spending time with? Who are you sharing with? If it's not your wife, the physical satisfaction ain't going to come. Ladies, who are you sharing with? Who's hearing all the secrets? Who's hearing the latest? The romantic satisfaction is not going to come. We need to build our friendship. Here are counselors we've learned from. They're called Les and Leslie. Now, I don't know who's the man, who's the woman, but they introduce them. Hi, I'm Les. Hi, I'm Leslie. And he said, what? then they'll say we're not twins, but those are their real names. Les and Leslie Parrott, they've written, and I quote, in fact, the emotional intimacy that a married couple shares is said to be 5 times more important than their physical intimacy. So it stands to reason that couples can ignite their love life by boosting the quality of their friendship. Note what they also say, the quality of their friendship. You just ignite your love life by boosting the quality of your friendship. So if we're spending time outside of the relationship we want to satisfy us, that's why it's not going well. That's why the love light, fire seems to be flickering instead of burning brightly. So you want to ignite your love life? Build on your friendship. The emotional intimacy that a married couple shares is 5 times more important than their physical intimacy. So, if friendship is one of the characteristics of a happy and lasting marriage, as well as the foundation of a healthy marriage, then we need to work on that emotional connection that we as couples need. Because couples that are friends look forward to spending time together and genuinely like each other. Where do we sometimes transfer these things? To the children, maybe to our friends. And we wonder why we don't feel that satisfaction we long for. It's because we're not taking time to develop, build, nurture our friendship in marriage. So think of one more thing somebody said, sharing secrets. Friendship is what helps us as married people to feel safe enough to be more open with one another without worrying about being judged or feeling insecure. Isn't that what we do with our friends? Close friends. We share with them, and somebody shared with us. Somebody just said it not long ago. He says, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. That's what we had. And he said, so I surround myself with people who give me ideas, people who move me forward. This is it. But it didn't happen. You worked on it. And somebody also said, when I share with them, yes, I feel safe to share, free to share, comfortable was the word. Yes, comfortable to share with them. Counselors will say you feel safe. They're not going to take what you gave them and throw it at you next time you're having a fight. So yeah, this is why your siblings don't talk to you. Oops. Will you hear anything else? You just shared a secret. And then 2 weeks later, you're having a fight, a disagreement, and it's taken and thrown in your face. Do you understand why you're not hearing anything more from your close friend or your fiance or your significant other, whatever words you put in there, your spouse? Because they don't feel safe. And for married people, one of our go-to verses is Genesis 2:25. Genesis 2:25 says, the man and his wife were both naked and they felt no shame. And the word naked there also relates to transparency. So we can reread that verse. The man and his wife were both transparent, physically, emotionally, socially, financially, spiritually, everything. And they felt no shame. That's why we reach out for a friend when we're having a hard time and our spouse doesn't know, because we feel safe. But can we develop that safety with each other as spouses? Yes, friendship can be developed, In fact, it's best developed, not demanded. They're both D words. Develop, not demand. Well, you can, I mean, how many people did you demand to become your friend? But you developed it. You talked to them today, you met with them again. Oh, we've met before. And then on. And today, maybe you're sitting here together and you're thinking, or you were thinking before, let's go to this. Could help us. We could learn something before we get married. Friendship is also selective. It is a selective type of love based on qualities in the other person that we find admirable, attractive, appealing. Interesting. You know, Paul would say something like that in Ephesians 4. You know, he would say something. You can open that for us. You know, whatever you find admirable, etc. Ephesians 4:18, I believe. You know, it's selective. So we look for these things. We haven't heard anybody say, oh, I developed a friendship with this person because, you know, I realize he's very good at robbing banks and he's going to be my friend so that we can rob banks together. We look for things that are admirable. We look for things that we find good in each other. Philippians, sorry. Sorry. I led you astray. Sorry. You want to get your own. Okay, let me push on while she looks this up for us. Okay, go ahead. Okay. And then it's also important because friendship, we've already said it's an enjoyable interaction, and it comes through companionship. Shared experiences are the building blocks of friendship. Shared experiences. So we, as couples, what do we need to do so that we will develop our friendship? You know, Vivian will be sharing with us in a few moments as I pass on to her. But before she comes on, let me ask this question. Why do you think some spouses are not friends? You know, why do you think some spouses are not friends or find it difficult to be friendly with or to each other? Let's hear from you. Yes?
I think in India, when your parents marry for you.
What? Sorry?
In India, when your parents do the arrangements for you, when they marry the lady for you, sometimes when they come, we can't be friends. Because she wasn't my friend from initial stages. Somebody imported her and brought her over.
Okay, so it's become functional. You do this, I do this. This is why you're here. Okay, that's understandable.
Yep.
Okay.
Why
Anything else?
couples be friends?
I think one point is when trust is broken amongst the like partners or the couple, then it's difficult to maintain that friendship.
So they have friends at first, and then the friendship trust is broken. So then he can come back and be friends. Anyway.
Okay. Trust is broken. All right. Okay. More?
Yeah, sometimes also come with a cultural background. In some cultures, and most of us may be first generation in Australia or wherever we are. Some cultures have that barrier between the male and females, and so interaction tend to be limited. And if it is limited, it's dictated by the culture. It then in countries you come to country like Australia, and that is strained.
Okay. So culturally, cultural background Okay, but does the culture say you and your wife can't be friends?
Yes, I believe one or the other thing that can make spouse stop to be friend is business of everyday. People get so busy in work, studies, and then they don't get enough time to interact, and they start being apart.
Okay. The
So
business of
everyday activity, we become too
all
busy
right.
with stuff that we don't get attention to each other anymore.
Okay. Let's
Um,
take a couple more. Ladies,
Please, can I say family interference? Family
family
interfering in a marriage.
explain.
Um, so if family are always into your marriage, I don't think the couples can be friends because if the husband's family is telling what the husband to do and he is also doing it, I don't think there's um, some agreement between the couple or some trust or anything. So for me, I think family interference cannot make couples to be friends.
Okay. So
Everything I
externally
tell you,
telling
you go
you.
and tell your mother.
So we can't share. We
Yeah, I
can't. It
can't
can't
tell you
be
my
our
secret
secret.
anymore. Especially if I
Okay.
don't like your mother.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
One more.
yeah, when the bond within the family turns out to be with the case more than the whether the husband or the wife, yeah, it breaks the love and the friendship because all the love goes into the case without turning away from the husband or the wife.
So
Okay.
initially we
Thank.
were friends. When the baby started coming, all the attention went on the baby, and then you forgot each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
One more.
Very good.
And also, I think
So
fear of being judged. Sometimes when one partner or one party in the relationship, like, fears that when he or she opens up, he or she is going to be judged by the partner. So, it makes the person, closes up and doesn't open up. So it doesn't build good friendship.
fear of being judged. Okay. Do you see how the things that we're saying keep us from being friends easily lead us to developing friendships outside, away from our spouses? Fear of being judged. Okay, if Joe judges me and that's what bothers me, I just won't talk to Joe. I move on. This is a common modern phrase, moving on. Where? To the next person who will not judge me. Somebody talked about if the trust is broken. I shared something and it ended up somewhere else. Maybe mother or any can be anybody else. You know, if trust is broken, it becomes difficult. Yes, but that's why we said this is not something you can demand or expect to happen. We develop, we build, and sometimes, yes, as with a building that's not very strong, what do? You renovate, you rebuild. So friendship is a form of intimacy, and intimacy can make us, in fact, it does make us vulnerable to being hurt. And you may have heard the phrase, those who often hurt us the most are those who are closest to us. So friendship, true friendship represents a sharing, an openness, and this is what we often don't think about, a willingness to be vulnerable. And so it requires a degree of trust. Paul Coleman, the author of 30 Secrets, 30 Secrets of Happily Married Couples, says Friendship represents a sharing, an openness, a willingness to be vulnerable. It requires a degree of trust. Friends show caring to one another by their availability, their thoughtfulness. Do you realize how this quote from him captures almost everything that was just said? A sharing, an openness, a willingness to be vulnerable. Afraid being judged? Requires a degree of trust. Availability. Your business is with everybody else except me. Your thoughtfulness. How much do you think about me? Can we really be friends? And how can we be friends? I turn over to my bride of 42 years and counting, Vivian.
So simply, what can we do to build our friendship in marriage? You see, the thing is that you don't choose who your parents should be. You don't choose who your siblings should be. You don't choose where you should be born, which family you should belong to. That all is determined by God. But you choose your wife, you choose your husband, you choose your friends. Nobody chooses those for you. So when we choose our friends, we choose our spouses, we have to work on the friendship. We have to work on the relationship. And there are very simple things you can do, practical things you can do to draw yourselves together. Somebody talked about when you get married, the time, the busyness and everything. So now we can't build on the friend. You are in the house with this person every day. So you have a little time you can spend together. When you come back from work, the time that you are on the phone with another friend talking, can't you spend 10, 15 minutes with your spouse, with your husband, your wife, chatting about what happened the whole day? Share. You share together. You talk, you have to talk with the person. If you are in a house with a person, why can't you talk with a person? Share. You share things together. You share your experiences, what happened the whole day when you were not together. When you come together, you talk. You spend time, make sure you spend time with each other. Do things together. Everything. You are in the kitchen, you are helping, somebody is dishing the food, somebody is bringing the plate, somebody is bringing something, somebody is cooking, one is cutting the onions for the person and bringing whatever it is. Even just bring the spoon, offer something. You are working together. You are doing things together. That's how you bond. That's how the friendship grows. Sit down and eat together. Wait for the other person. One old lady, when we got married, the advice she gave me is that if your husband is working and goes to work and comes late, maybe if you're hungry, take something small, but make sure that when he comes, sit with him and eat with him. Whatever time you spend, even if it's 15 minutes, you will talk, you will say something to each other. That's how you do things. Find things to do with each other. And the whole week, every week has 7 days. You cannot be busy the whole time that you can't do anything with each other. Find time to play with each other. Find games to play, find things to do with each other. There are so many things you can have a little time. The time that you spend with friends, make sure you make that time with your wife, with your husband, to play a game together, do things together, watch something together. And you spend the time, whatever you are watching, whatever you are interested in, find that time to do a little with your wife, with your husband. I was not somebody who really loves sports as such. But when I realized that my husband loves sports, Anything called sports, that's what I say he will watch. And I used to resent it, but then I began to think that, you know what, if you can't, if you can't beat them, join them. So I started watching the sports with him, and I can't believe myself now. I enjoy basketball. I enjoy soccer. I enjoy American football. I enjoy tennis. I enjoy golf. All the things wow, there's a lot to learn. Just don't ask questions. The ladies, when your husband is seriously watching a game, don't start asking questions. But to disturb, especially if it is their team, they're watching, but you will follow it, and find sometime.
And what can the guys do?
You can ask questions, later on, so that you are taught, if you don't know anything, to explain things to you. Enjoy each other, that there are things that you do together, and whatever programs your wife watches, why can't you also spend a little time watching one with your wife? My husband didn't used to watch Lifetime and those things, but one time
we call the Lifetime channel here TV for women.
I traveled once, and my children called me and said, "Oh, Daddy is really missing you. He's sitting here alone watching Lifetime." I'm not even there, and he's watching. There are things that I used to tell him that they are true life stories, so you learn from it. Things that you think this is women's thing. There are things that you can watch and learn something from, and because I guess I started watching sports and all those things with him, he also decided, maybe take one or two watch with my wife. We can do things together, do ministry together. When you are doing ministry together, you are working with each other. You are sharing all the time. Whatever ministry you are doing, you can work together. Sometimes we separate ourselves so much from each other because we are doing different things. Share what you are doing. Run it by your wife, run it by your husband, and work together. You see that the trust will come when we are doing things together and confiding in each other. There are many things that only my husband and I know, family and friends and all that. There are things that they don't really know about us. So share with each other. Don't allow family to come in so much. If family realizes that you treasure your wife, you treasure your husband, they will not pull you away, because they know that there are times that you don't want to be with them, and everybody will manage your life for you if you don't make them see that you value what you have. They will bring suggestions. You don't have to do them. You don't have to be with them. This time, I have something. You don't even have to tell them I have something with my wife, so I don't want to talk to you. You don't do. I'll talk to you later. We will do this later. Find things to do with each other. And most of all, share spiritual things together. Read the word together. Have time with God together. Learn from the word. Learn from the Bible. Discuss something. It doesn't have to be a long thing, like we are spending 1 hour sharing, Bible and all that. But share things. When you read something, share with your wife, share with your husband. When you discover something in the Bible or anything you've read, work together, pray together. Very, very important. There are so many couples who don't pray together. But if we want to be transparent, if husband and wife, Genesis 2:25, we will be naked and feel no shame. We have to be totally transparent, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, so everything we have to be. So share. Why are we sharing prayer topics with our friends that our spouses don't know? The problems you are having, you are able to share with your friends to pray, but you can't pray with your wife, you can't pray with your husband. Share and pray. That's how you bond together. The more you draw yourselves closer to God, you draw closer to each other because you are learning and praying together. God helps you too. So do things together. That's the most important thing with each other. That's how you build your friendship. The friends you have, that's the same thing you do with them. You talk with them, you share with them, you eat with them, you do things with them, take walks together. Find the time that you don't go for the walk alone. You know, some people say, I want to exercise. Why are you going for the walk alone? Why can't you go with your wife or your husband? You know, why, if you love going to the gym, why can't you encourage your wife also to come with you? Maybe she doesn't like, it can be the man, it can be the woman. Maybe they don't like that, but you can encourage them. There are things that people don't like, but when you make it look good, encourage them, make it fun, they will follow. They will come and do it with you. After all, you are making your physical body better. Why can't you help your spouse also to make their physical body better? You know, we can, the main thing is doing things together and sharing together. It doesn't even matter what it is, little things. Find the time and do things with each other. That's how you bond. Chat with each other. Make sure that every day when you come home, don't just come and eat and go and sleep. Talk with each other. Share something. What happened the whole day? You know, share something with each other. And share, don't only wait the whole day you haven't talked. You come in the evening and then you come and you talk 5 to 15 minutes. That's not friendship. Even during the day, whilst you are at work, you can send little notes to each other. Text messages. The way you send text messages to your friends, send some text message to your wife, to your husband also, whilst you are away with each other. Leave notes for each other just to assure them, I love you, I care for you. All those things, do it with each other. That's the most important thing. We find time to do things with everybody else except our spouses. Find the time. And if you don't know how to do it, start little by little every day. Just make a conscious effort that I have to spend time with my wife, with my husband. Nobody forced you to marry this person. You chose the person. Everybody else happens on you. Your parents and you just happened, you came out, you happened on your parents. They didn't decide that we want to, even to start with, they didn't even decide we want a boy, we want a girl. Even if they did that, sometimes you get the other one, you wanted a boy, you got a girl. But they are fine. They work with what they have and they build the relationship. So the one that you chose, it didn't happen on you, you chose. So you have to work with each other so that you'll be real friends. Thank you.
Wonderful. Let me tie it together with these two short passages. First of all, from Philippians 4:8. I kept saying 18, forgive me. Philippians 4:8. Paul writing to the Philippians says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. Isn't that what we do with our friends? Do we focus on their weaknesses, or we're looking to share the good things that they have and we admire about them? And then one of our go-to passages, let's see. It's Philippians 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Philippians, again, chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. You want to read that? Okay.
Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. That's Philippians 2, 3, and 4. I'll read it from the New Living Translation.
Okay.
The New Living Translation says, Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. Amen.
Amen. We don't look out only for our own interests, we look out for the interests of others. Thank you. We hand over to Pastor Peter and his celebrating bride, Harriet, and you can take us through a time of questions. We're happy to participate in a time of discussion. Let's put it that way. Because some of you might have experiences or thoughts or ideas about how we can build, develop this friendship, nurture it, grow it, so that it's a blessing to us in our marriage journey, or even in our journey into marriage. And so let's call it a discussion, not just question and answer. All right, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Richard and Vivian. So the floor is open now. We want to build friendship even in our marriage. Okay, we don't want to be passengers. We don't want to be like housemates. We don't want to be, I know some of my friends, their wives have turned into slaves. They do everything while the guy is changing channels and watching TV. I didn't marry a slave. So how can we rekindle the friendship again? Any suggestions, any questions, anything you would like to add? How can we be friends again? So just as we talk through, just think about you and your best friend. Okay, somebody spoke about trust. I have a best friend from high school, right from year one when we met in high school. And his policy about life is that he doesn't keep secret. Yeah. He'll tell you that if it's a secret, keep it to yourself. If you tell him, he will tell other people. Yeah, he said that if you tell him, then you want it to go public. So you can't tell him something and he say, oh, keep it secret. That's when he will take it outside. But we are still friends up to today. When we call each other, we can talk for over 3 hours. We talk. You get it? But we are still friends. So you can still be friends with somebody who cannot keep a trust. We're still friends. One of my friends in America, we met at university. We support different parties. We've never been in the same party. We never supported the same football club. But when we call each other, we can talk for hours. We talk about everything. We talk about politics. I don't like your party. I don't like this person. We will talk about everything. But we still like each other. So why is it that when it's with your spouse and you don't like one particular thing, then it turns trouble? I like biscuit. She doesn't like biscuit. Then we start fighting about biscuit. Why? If you can keep a friend, why? So yeah, any contribution, anybody want to add anything? So if I can keep a friend who broke my trust, why can't I can keep my wife? Even if she tell her mother I don't care.
So maybe we can ask this question that will see the
There's a
discussion.
hand. There's a hand here. So you ask your question, and then we will let Joseph talk.
Okay, so the question we would want, for the audience, including those online, who have muted themselves kindly, quietly, kept quiet, is this: what have you done, or what do you do to keep your friendship going? Or what do you do? What are you doing? That's if you're friends. You can share with us. If you feel that you and your spouse are friends, might be good so that we can all learn from that as well. Thank you. So the hand, yes.
Yeah, Joseph want to say something before we come to that question.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, the question is, apart from the physical experiences that we have in our marriages, do you also encounter any spiritual attack that hinders the commitment or trust or anything that pushes the relationship or marriage? Do you also have that kind of spiritual attacks?
Spiritual attack.
On the go ahead.
Spiritual. Explain a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking in terms of, we have friends, we have family, we have other close related people who may be jealous or envy in the marriage, that may hinder the progress of the marriage. Can we say that they can, like those kind of spiritual hindrances can also affect the progress of the marriage?
Yes, anything can affect the progress of your marriage. But Matthew chapter 18, verses 18 and 19 says something. And it is very, very, very important to know there is nobody, nothing that can come between husband and wife if the two of you are together. The Bible, Jesus himself said, if two shall agree on anything, if Matthew 18, 18 and 19, assuredly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, I say to you that if two of you agree on earth concerning anything that they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Amen. There are spiritual attacks all the time on your marriage, everything. But that is why you need the two of you. There is no two on this earth which can better agree than husband and wife. I can agree with you. You can agree with my husband. Two people, you can pray and things will happen. But the strongest two on this earth is husband and wife. So it is for the two of you to see the problems together. Don't see the problem as coming from my wife's family, so it is your problem. Coming from my husband's family, it is our problem. So if we see anything, if you suspect anything, come together and pray about it. Commit it to the Lord. See it. Don't. If one person is saying, "Oh, this is nothing," that is where the problem is. But the two of you see it as a problem together and address it, attack the issue, pray together. Yes, there are spiritual attacks all the time on us, on our children, on anything, on the marriage. That is why you need the two to be together and pray together. Commit it into God's hands. Trust the Lord, He will do it for you.
So, yes, there are spiritual attacks. But even before we're looking at spiritual attacks, can we check ourselves? A young man who was complaining, I'm not complaining, was given the reason why he had begun talking to another woman, not his wife, said, this is all the work of the devil. I really love my wife. And I said, well, I understand what you're saying. But since we can't get hold of the devil, we can only deal with the one who was his agent. That happens to be you. It's through you he's working to mess up your own relationship with your wife. Whatever spiritual attack will come through one or sometimes both. That's why Peter, the apostle, would write, be alert and be sober. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, he says, standing firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings. 1 Peter chapter 5, 8 and 9. But he's working through individuals. We are in the relationship. And so we have a choice or choices to make whether we will allow ourselves to be used by the devil or we will be alert and resist him. And how much better if both of us are resisting him. So, my friends, as Christians, it's very easy for us to hide behind it's a spiritual attack. And then we refuse to do the right things. If I'm rude to my wife, I need to work on it. I need to stop being rude. I need to learn how to speak kindly to her rather than say it's a spiritual attack. Or for her even to conclude it's a spiritual attack. The devil is stealing our joy. It's the husband who's speaking rude to her, so she always feels down. So there are things we have to work on. Yes, and include the spiritual too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else question or contribution to how
So
can
Peter,
you?
our question now, right? Or
Yes,
if
please.
there's another hand, fine. We can still go ahead. But
Okay,
I still want
they are saying
yeah.
you should ask the question again.
Oh, all right. The question is, what are you doing or what do you as a couple do to build your friendship? What have you been doing that for you has been really helping you to draw closer to each other, to really feel friendly with each other? So you can share with us. We might learn a thing or two from you also.
You have something to say.
Okay, so what my husband and I do is we communicate more. Everything that happens in his work, he comes back to tell me. We have more conversation. We communicate very well. I think that helped us from the beginning. So we don't hide anything from each other. Yeah.
All right.
Plus, you are teaching him how to dance. Anybody else? What can we do to make the friendship strong, or what are you doing right now that you can teach other people to do? So
Yeah.
maybe what you have been able to overcome is an issue for me, and I can learn from you or somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Your friends voted you as the best couple 2020. What have you been doing? What's your secret?
I want to talk about beginning of our marriage, even our friendship before marriage. So before we got married, we were like we talk about everything, even things that will hurt the other one. We didn't care about it. We talk about it, and nobody blames each other for whatever he does wrong or she does wrong. But it got to a certain point that you realize, especially when we got married and then there is a kid, we got one kid and the parents came around, we started talking about things and other things like extended family stuff, and then I realized that looks like I felt like, oh, I the other side wasn't happy about some things I talked about. I thought I was being transparent, I was being fair, but then they were not happy about it. I realized, oh, if they're not happy about it, then why don't I keep quiet? And since I started doing that, I realized, oh, things are going wayward. So yeah, we have to open up and keep talking all the time. Whether it hurts or it's good, you talk about it. If you stop, then everything ceases. The happiness and everything ceases. Yeah.
Thank you.
So are you still talking now, or you are keeping quiet now?
Working about it.
Working on it. Okay. Mrs., is that true? Are you working on it? Yes. Any other contribution? Uncle Rich, I hope you heard his contribution.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Oh yeah, we did. We did. Yes.
Anybody else? You want to say something? You're smiling. Okay.
I think it's not always going to be lovey-dovey all the time. It's not all the time that you are going to experience butterflies in the stomach. So sometimes you need to make conscious efforts by scheduling regular dates. Yeah, to talk about things.
All right. So you are there for the.
So she said intentional. You have to do intentional dating. Go to the movies again.
All right.
Or watch the movie at home again.
Yes,
do something again.
watch
Do something.
the movie at home again, but go to the movies sometime. Well, there's a caveat there. Some people sleep. Some people sleep through movies.
Yeah, as we get older.
So, if you don't mind, if you know that either your husband or your wife halfway through the movie they're going to say, "Let's not spending time with you anyway."
Yeah.
So when they wake up, they ask, "What happened?"
All right.
Yep.
Be intentional about continuing to date each other.
Yep.
So it comes from both of us. It's not only the man. It's not only the woman. That's part of friendship. It's two-way.
Yep.
It's not one person is the one who's always, driving the relationship. Some more experiences? Any couple married more than 25 years, like Peter and Harriet?
Yeah, what I would like to add on to what everyone has contributed is that it's not organic. It's not going to happen just because you are married, so you become friends. It is hard work. You have to work hard at it. So be intentional about it. Have ideas like, what can we do this time? And work hard at it. It's not easy. It doesn't happen organically. We have to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what she's saying is that we are friends by hard work because we had different background, different training, different upbringing, different interests. But over 25 years, we've worked hard to keep the friendship going, and it's still going. We're still not there yet, but we are working on it. Anybody else?
Any couple married 5 years?
More than 5 years, or 5 year plus.
We want to learn from the fresher ones,
okay.
And then we can also learn from the oven baked ones like yours.
Okay, so less than 5 years. Anybody married less than 5 years?
What are you doing to build your friendship? Or what do you do?
Online. Those online, you can write it down or you can unmute and talk.
Yes.
Okay, if you have any suggestion, what are you doing to grow your friendship in your marriage? Practical. If you have any ideas. I saw one person wrote earlier that let us not judge one another. Okay, let's try as much as possible to avoid judging. Because sometimes as Christians, we judge too much.
What is meant by judging? Because in modern lingo,
Yeah.
what the younger people, I'll say the teens are saying now about judging, if you say anything that opposes what they do, then you're judging them. Is that what we're talking about? We want to hear, because, if you tell them, no, this dress is not good, you are judging me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so that's what was ringing in my ear. What do you mean by let's not judge each other?
Okay. The person just wrote it on the line, so I don't know what he meant. So if he can come online, whoever wrote about the let us not judge one another, if you have any explanation, what do you mean by not judge one another?
Yeah, I just want to make a contribution to that.
Yes,
back
please.
back in Africa or back home, mostly when you go out excessively with the family, maybe for occasions, for programs, people think maybe you are spending too much, and they intend to judge you on the spendings that you do with the family. And because of that, it hinders sometimes you going out most often with the family. And love, friendship sometimes develop with going on occasions, going for programs, associate yourself with others and do stuff. And people think, maybe you are spending too much money outside, and then you are not maybe saving a lot for the future. So people may judge you based on how you spend your money on the family, regardless of how you also want your family to be happy. Yeah. Thank you.
When you mean family, you mean extended family, right?
Yeah, not extended, but I'm talking about the nuclear family. Like going out most often with a family or maybe with your spouse outside home, trying to figure out, like feeling excitement in terms of your life, your couple life. And people think that you are spending too much. Sometimes even buying something for your wife, people think that why do you have to spend so much money buying those things for your wife? In Africa they talk a lot with regards to those things, and some of these things hinders you from doing more for the family, or doing more for the wife, or doing more for the husband. And these are some of the hindrances that I feel that people come in, and then it hinders people from doing more to progress the family. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
We can talk from our own experience and from working with many couples. The decision lies with the couple. You chose each other, like Vivian was saying in her presentation. So I chose her. If I decide to go out with her, I don't care what people say. If my brother says I'm spending too much time with my wife, it's only if I spend no time with him, then he'll. But if I give him 1 hour in a month and I'm spending 200 hours with my wife, that's my choice. If we totally neglect our extended family and saying that, fine. It happens even with our friends. Sometimes, why you don't hang out with the boys anymore since you got married? Yeah, because you guys were there. I decided to spend the rest of my life with somebody else. I will spend less time with you. So sometimes we men especially are teased back to be with the boys, because since you got married, oh, look, it's 9 o'clock. Oh, guys, he's going home. Madam wants him home. Yes, ma'am, he's going to say, so what? Sometimes this, yes, like you said, can hinder us from that shared time with our spouses. But we find more, it's the other way, that we tend to spend more time with others rather than spouse. And that's why we were asking, what are people doing to bond, to keep that friendship going? If you and we need to, just look at your schedule for the week. Today is Saturday. Look at what happened from Monday to Saturday and think of how much time you have actually spent exclusively. If you're married, how much time did you spend exclusively with your spouse? I'm talking of exclusive, not with the kids around, not with your friends around, but just the two of you. And before you married, how was that time spent? How was your time spent? You would make exclusive time for each other. So why don't we continue? Now that we're married, other things are pressing out that time. And if you're not careful, it's that exclusive time with each other that will almost always get sacrificed. Somebody wants you to help them to move. It's that time you would have spent Saturday afternoon. That's when you're going to help them to move. I'm just giving an example, but just think about it very carefully. Which time gets sacrificed? Is it the time with the children or the time with your spouse? And so when people are talking of being intentional, that's where we need to make the choice. What gets cut? Is it the time I'll have with my spouse or with someone else? So let's create not just a balance, but even in terms of balancing, balance can skew in favor of one side. I would rather skew it in favor of my spouse than everyone else. Because ultimately, she's the one I can call my own. Even my children will grow up and leave. That's what we've told our children. When they say, "Where are you going?" So sometimes I used to tell them, "Out. We're going out." Say, "Yeah, but where?" I said, "I'm taking my wife out. Do you have a problem with that?" Because we wanted them to understand that we also need to have time to ourselves, for ourselves. All right. Somebody put something in the chat. Peter, you can read that for everyone.
Yeah, it's from Kofi and Vivian. And they say that friendship in marriage grows well when we love each other unconditionally and accept each other's weaknesses.
Okay. We do that with our friends, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't focus on the weaknesses of our friends when we meet with them. When a friend is late, we don't spend the next 15 minutes talking about why they were late to come meet with us. Say, "Oh, you made it." Said, "Yeah, I'm so sorry I'm late." And we continue. So why do we spend 15 minutes fighting each other when one person is late? That's no license for you to be late next time. It's only your get out of jail free for today that you were late to the meeting. But tomorrow you can't also be late to church and say, "Oh, remember Uncle Richard said we shouldn't do that to each other. We just..." Sorry?
Somebody was talking online. We were saying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please repeat your comments.
I think that was offline.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. But if somebody has a habit of being late, well, Parliament has to discuss it. The Parliament of two.
Uncle Rich, in one of your quotations for today, you said something like, "We should not please everyone." Our early marriage, somebody taught me this secret. Okay, he taught me a concept called the audience of one. Okay. You cannot live in this world and say, "I will not please anybody." Okay, so pick the audience of one. If you are married, just please one person. It's not hard. It's one person. It's not hard. And for those of you that are Christians or religious, okay, let's say choose God, please God first. But what did God say? Beat your wife, beat your husband, everything God said, do it. Just please only one person. So if you can do it with God, then the next is your wife or your husband. Just please only one person. One. I don't, like there's no confusion in my head as who am I going to please tomorrow. It's locked and key, like thrown away. I don't even think about it. So if there's a confusion, I like people, okay, I enjoy people, I like to please people, I'm a people pleaser. But if there's a confusion between you and my wife, there's no discussion, it's done. My wife, number one. I don't discuss, even my wife and my children, my wife, number one. They always, they feel it, even when they come to the presence, they can feel it. Then they complain, you don't like me anymore, it's not my favorite. Okay, but who is my favorite? I didn't marry you, I married my wife. So I like that debate when my kids say, it's not my favorite. Yeah, but who should be my favorite? Just be honest with yourself. Because he's 26 right now, he's going to marry, and then his wife is going to become his favorite. Why should he be my favorite? So audience of one, just please only one person. If you can, then you take it to the next, then to the next, then to the next. But if you don't have capacity for everybody like me, just pick one. Start with God and then your spouse.
Great. The person who made the comment about being judged has put in the
Explanation.
Okay. Yes, so you can kindly read to us.
Yes, so he says that what I meant by being judged is that you can come with a suggestion or do something not ideal to the other. You then hear words like, I knew you would do such. Rather come and ask what or how it happened. It happened, and offer a better way that lifts or shows you care. So that's the explanation. Do not judge.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So like when I was in high school, I went to a boarding school, okay? My house, there are 8 houses in the school. But my house was notorious for bad boys. So it doesn't matter whether you are religious, scriptural union, Muslim, it doesn't matter. Once you are in that house, all the teachers regard you as a bad person. So if anything evil happens in the school, it doesn't matter where it happens, what time, they are coming for that house. So if you walk in town and something happens and you come from that house, they say, oh, that, like they've judged already. Okay, it's done. They don't discuss it, it's done. So sometimes in our marriage relationship, we have that attitude about the spouse that somewhere, somehow, is going to do something bad. So anytime something happens, oh, I told you so. Why did you do that? Because you know that he's going to do it or she's going to do it. And what I've seen is that whatever you expect is going to happen. As a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever you expect, you're going to get. Okay, so why don't you expect good? Just expect good. Even if it's not good, it's okay, but expect good. Expect good from your partner. Expect good. So if bad happens, then you got to find out, oh, what happened? Can I help you? But not, why did you do that? I knew you were going to do it. I knew. Yep. So that's what I will say in terms of the judgment. Don't conclude that, oh, he's a bad person. Okay, for me, he talked too much. So as soon as you give me a microphone, they are timing me. You're checking that I will not go past the time. So as soon as I pass the time, I told you so. I know he's going to pass this time. But no, just listen to the content and say, oh, you are amazing. I like the second line. This guy know how to talk. Because if you make up your mind that he's going to delay, he will delay. You get what you want. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that when Job had a problem, God told him that, he said, not God told him, but it was written about Job. He says that the things that I feared has come upon me. So if you are afraid that your spouse will do something evil or something bad, it's going to happen. So give him a 9 or a 10. Always wish that you do something great. Always expect something amazing from your children, from your spouse, and you see how things will play out. So as a man thinketh, so is he. It means that whatever you are thinking will manifest in our natural world. So if your wife or your husband is not your friend from today, and you have listened to this talk, we want to encourage you to start expecting good friendship. Start thinking about it in the first place. What am I going to do tomorrow to make this relationship the greatest? Because for us, that's one of our challenges. We want to become the example. We want everybody to look at our marriage and wish to marry. We want the young boys in town, the young girls in town who are not married yet. Because there's one guy in our church, he said he's looking at the statistics of divorce. And because of that, he's afraid. 30-something years, he's afraid to make a commitment. So he gets a girlfriend and they go on nicely before you see they split. Then he gets another one and then he's always looking at the statistics of divorce. But we made a commitment that we want to be the example. People should look at us and say, no, this is nice. Marriage is good. I want to marry. So what are you going to do to develop your friendship, your relationship to make you attractive? That your workmates, your friends, and people will look at your marriage and want to marry. I'll start from here. Start thinking about it. Just start thinking, what are you going to do? So yesterday, Uncle Rich told us, no, the day before yesterday or yesterday, one of those days, told us that our 25th year anniversary, we are spending it, we are celebrating it the whole year. So we started planning already. Every month, what are we going to do to make our friendship and marriage stronger for 1 year? And we are thinking. So if you start thinking, things will happen. Okay, friendship is hard work. But I would say that it's a process. Okay, every good thing is a process. If you follow the process, you will have good friendship. Friendship is like gold. But we don't walk to the mine and pick the gold on the floor. We follow a certain process. We take a dirt from the ground. We put it in the mill, and we use a certain process. And then eventually we bring the gold out. So if you want your friendship, your marriage to develop a friendship that is like gold, you got to follow the process. Okay, so if you haven't read the process yet, please find it and read. Uncle Rich, you can summarize now for us.
You did a great job. But as you were talking, two verses came to mind. Proverbs 17:17. Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, but a brother is born for a time of adversity. just that first part. A friend laughs at all times. In one of our seminars, a man said, this thing about you are talking of friend. I mean, my wife is my wife. She can't be my friend. I said, what do you mean? He said, I mean, with my friends, even when I'm upset with them, I really don't tell them off. I have to speak nicely to them so I don't lose them. But with my wife, I can tell her, some hard things, yes, because she's my friend. She's my wife. So, wow. Do you see why people are unhappy in their marriages? He's nice to his friends because he doesn't want to lose them. But it's okay to lose your wife, the one you chose to spend the rest of your life with. So Peter says we need to work on it. It's hard work. It's hard work also to keep our friends, unless they are shallow. But the ones that are buddy, deep friends, solid friends, we share deep things with them as well. And we can cultivate that. And Peter also said we should begin thinking about what to do and don't let it stop at thinking. Some of us are good at thinking, but very poor at doing. This is where we need each other. You see, both of us have the same title in terms of initials in our marriage, CIO. The C stands for chief, the O stands for officer. It's only the I that's different. So Vivian has great ideas. So she's our chief ideation. This is American, so you have to make it sound like that. Chief ideation officer. So you can say chief ideas. See, chief ideas officer is chief ideation officer. And me, chief implementation officer. So she comes up and says, yeah, let's try it. She says, no, I was just thinking, hey, how do we know whether it's good or not? So you both can become CIOs in your marriage and let your friendship begin to grow and bloom. And finally, like Paul wrote to the Philippians, let's also conclude. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Isn't that what we do when it comes to our close friends? We don't think of them as evil. We don't think of them as bad. We don't think of them as out to get us. Maybe that's why they are still close friends after many years. Just think of how life would be different with our spouses if we also thought about them the same way. And here's our final thought. When something goes wrong between you and your very close friends, how long does it take to resolve it? Many of you will say, not long. Minutes. Some would say, oh, a matter of hours, I'll call back again. Say, that call didn't end well. What's going on? You want to fix it. It's one of the greatest benefits of our friendship we've had. Just like the man told us, I want to keep my friend. I want my best friend. So when things go wrong, we go looking for our best friend. And because we have become best friends of each other, at least very close friends of each other, guess who we reach out to? Who we reach out for? Who we lean on? And who can lean on us? That's the joy of being friends in your marriage. Through the good times, bad times, tough times, easy times, joyful times, sorrowful times. With God's help, we will succeed and we can even do better. That others may learn from us, from you, just like we've done today. God bless you all, and may good friendship, solid friendship, deep friendship, enrich yours. And into marriage, if you're not yet married, and in marriage, if you are married. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Welcome.
The way you are sitting, we can see that, Uncle Rich, you are leaning more on Auntie Vivian. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you very much for coming. I would like to encourage that let's share this good news out there to our friends and family. Those online, thank you very much for joining us. God bless you all. We pray that our relationships will become stronger and better for a better world. Good night.